Welcome to another fucking live watch along. We're gonna watch Donald Trump participate in a bilateral meeting with the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Bahrain. And then we're also going to watch some press gaggles from yesterday. You've probably seen some sound bites and heard a couple of clips from his press gaggles yesterday, but we should watch the whole thing, you know? Good morning to Long Beach. Am I pronouncing Bahrain correctly? All right, let me make myself a little smaller here. Oh, what's happening? Okay. Something happened with my options right before I started recording. This is what we wanted to hear. Now we're happy. Now we're happy. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Start. There we go. Oh, get the camera right.
Well, it's a great honor to have the Prime Minister and the Crown Prince of Bahrain.
I was pronouncing it correctly. I'm going to seat myself right between them.
The Crown Prince. I think I take the Crown Prince. And very
Why is the sound always bad? They don't have a boom mic over in there?
Who has a great reputation, you know that.
Thank you, Mr. President.
That reputation as a smart, hardworking guy, so it's good to say hello to you. Congratulations. We've had a tremendous relationship, I have personally, with Bahrain over the years, and has been a fantastic ally. And anything they needed, we helped them, and anything we needed, they helped us. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, including the
anything they needed.
Most
we helped them, and
military
anything we needed, they
maneuver
helped
that
us.
anybody's seen probably in 50 years, which took place a few weeks ago, and Iran knocked out
They're in the Persian
their
Gulf.
entire potential nuclear capacity.
I'll show you what I'm looking at.
And it was obliterated. You know, I used that term. They said, "Well, maybe that's too much." I said, "No." It turned out it was more than obliterated. They can't go back. And we're just really going to talk about some things, including trade. We're going to be discussing trade. We do a lot of trading with Bahrain, and we're going to have lunch after this. But we'll take some questions. First, I'd like to ask the Crown Prince to say a couple of words. And he also has a father who's living and well and doing fantastically, as I understand it.
He is.
And somebody he's respected all over the Middle East and all over the world. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Mr.
Fire
President.
this cameraman.
Thank you, one and all. It is indeed a great honor to be here on this fine morning to
No
put
accent.
into action the relationship that exists between our two countries. We will be discussing security issues. We'll be discussing trade
What a neutral
and
accent
investment.
this man has.
We're very happy to be announcing $17 billion
Bahrain is in
worth
the
of deals
Persian Gulf.
that are coming to the United States, and this is real. This isn't.
It's real money.
These aren't fake deals. These are real deals.
They don't have to borrow the money.
We don't have to borrow it. It's coming in, and it only builds upon a legacy that we're very proud of. We have had a relationship in the civil side between our two countries since 1893, and formally since 1948. So may it long continue, and we look forward to many, many more years of productive partnership. Thank you, Mr. President.
We will have
You
that.
honor us.
We will have that indeed. Many good years on it. So right now is your top year,
Gulf
and we
Arab
appreciate
ally.
the investment. It's a great. We left, as you know, Saudi Arabia. We were just there in Saudi Arabia, and Qatar was so great. Leaders great. We had UAE, and we had a couple of other visits, but all great places. And we left with $5.1 trillion of investment, and they all want to be investing in the United States. You know, we have, I think we have over $16 trillion of investment coming in, which is a record, and we're only a little bit into the year. And let's say the first 2 months, I sort of took it easy because we had to fix up the Oval Office. I had to devote my time to fixing it up. But now we had to fix up our country. So we have, I think everyone is saying we have the hottest country now anywhere in the world. We were dead a year ago. We were a dead country. And now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
We have the hottest country, guys. I don't know if you're in the U.S. and you didn't know. We're in the hottest country.
Well, I can't comment. I think I'll ask Marco to say a few words on Syria.
Here, someone asked for some comments on Syria. Here you go.
Historic, long-time rivalries between different groups in the south, west of Syria, Bedouins, the Druze community, and it led to an unfortunate situation and a misunderstanding, it looks like, between the Israeli side and the Syrian side. So we've been engaged with them all morning long and all night long with both sides, and we think we're on our way towards a real de-escalation and then hopefully get back on track in helping Syria build a country and arriving at a situation there in the Middle East is far more stable. So in the next few hours, we hope to see some real progress to end what you've been seeing over the last couple hours.
Mr. President Jerome Powell, do you have plans, or you're back considering firing Jerome Powell? What's your
He
justification?
keeps saying that he's not going to fire
Well,
him.
he's too late. He's always been too late. Hence his nickname, Too Late. He should have cut interest rates a long time ago. Europe has cut them 10 times.
This
in a
guy's
short
like, why
period
are we
of time.
talking about
He cut
this?
'em none. The only time he cut them was just before the election to try and help Kamala or Biden, whoever the hell it was, because nobody really knew. Obviously, that didn't work, but he tried to cut them for the Democrats, Kamala.
It's not quite how it went down, or at least that's not what he
Well,
says. The
but
reasoning
he's-
was,
he's,
obviously.
I think he does a terrible job. He's costing us a lot of money, and we fight through it. It's almost, the country's become so successful that it doesn't have a big impact, but it does hurt people wanting to get a mortgage. People want to buy.
We're
a
already
house.
so successful that we
He's
actually
a
don't even need
terrible-
rate cuts
he's a
anymore. So
Terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he
that's
was
kind of
appointed.
Fed Chair Powell's
Frankly,
decision.
that
Like they kind of, it sounds
Biden
like he
put him in
agrees.
and extended him.
The course of action, of course, then is to not
did.
lower rates,
So,
which
no,
is not
we're
what he wants.
Planning on doing anything. We're very concerned. He's doing a little renovation for 2.5 billion of the Fed, building a renovation, and they have close to 900 million.
That's right.
cost
Live news with
overrun.
me.
And it's a shame, but the biggest cost overrun is the cost overrun for interest rates, because we should be paying 3 points lower, and we would save $1 trillion a year in interest if that were the case. And all it is the stroke of a pen. And that goes for his board too, because his board is not doing the job.
$1 trillion a year. That's
Trying
not
to
what he
rein this
said
guy
last
in.
time.
So he's doing a lousy job, but no, I'm not talking about that. Fortunately, we get to make a change in the next, 8 months or so. And we'll pick somebody that's good, and we'll pick somebody. I just want a fair job. We want to see lower interest rates. Our country deserves it. We're making a lot of money. We're doing great as a country. We have no inflation, record stock market, record business, record everything. Everything's a record now. We had the worst inflation.
Yeah, do you
in
think people
history,
will ask about Epstein today?
under Biden, and now we have.
What's the over/under
almost
on a
no
question
inflation.
about Epstein?
We've done a great job, and we should have the interest rates cut.
So you were saying the other day that Scott Bessent yourself
Primarily.
at Treasury that he's not your top option to replace Jerome Powell, whatever that may be, whenever you decide what you want to do with him.
No, Scott's doing a very good job. Now I'm very happy with Scott, which
If Kevin has
I'd
it-
rather keep him. Kevin's somebody would consider. Kevin is fantastic too. We have a lot of good people for that job. It's not a tough job, to be honest. Assuming you're smart, it's not a tough job. If you're a dummy, then I guess it's a tough job. But it might be one of the easiest jobs I've ever seen. And now on top of it, he's building a close to $3 billion little nest egg for himself. He's not doing the right job. We should be saving $1 trillion a year in interest. You know, when he talks about cost, we should be saving. Think of it, $1 trillion a year. Add that with the tariffs and everything else. But he just doesn't want. He's a knucklehead. But we'll see how that. We'll see how he's listening.
I wish
to this,
Donald
but
Trump used the word
that's a
knucklehead
strange
a little more
conversation.
often.
But we like to say it like it is. But we have a lot
guy
of
is-
people that want that
he's
job
like,
very
what?
badly. And
Trump, he's just sitting
I'm
next to
only
Trump calling
interested
people
in
knuckleheads.
low interest people. frankly, because you don't need. I know. So they had the
By the way,
71
I'm the
different
crown prince
economists and
of
people that they experts that they picked
of a
about
nation.
a month ago. I was the only one, along with one person from maybe the Wharton School of Finance. The two of us got it right. 69 people, including Powell, got it wrong. And he wants to hire thousands of new people to help him decide where we're going in the future. It only takes one good mind. It doesn't take 5,000 good minds. So they're expanding the Fed. It's the dumbest thing I've heard of. But you know, it's very autonomous.
I've heard it. I've heard dumber.
Just to follow up on it, so is there, are you completely ruling out the idea of firing Jerome Powell?
I don't rule out anything, but I think it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, you
unless
got
he
it.
has to leave.
He has said
fraud.
multiple
It's
times
possible
that he's
there's
not
fraud
planning on
involved
firing
with
Jerome
the,
Powell.
$2.7 billion renovation. This is a renovation. How do you spend $2.7 billion?
Thanks, Ski Dad.
And he didn't have proper
PMW,
clearance,
I
et cetera, et
understand.
cetera. So, you
I
know,
do,
that's
I get
going
it.
on. So,
I get it, Jira.
you know, there could be something to that, but I think he's not doing a good job. He's got a very easy job to do. You know what he has to do? Lower interest rates.
Trump moments ago said that we're doing great. We don't even need the interest rate cuts.
No, I talked about the concept of fire him. I said, what do you think? Almost every one of them said I should. But I'm more conservative than they are. No, we did. We talked about it. In fact, we had 11 of the 12 people here yesterday, you know, for a very big bill having to do with crypto, etc., and other things. And
Yeah, there's a bunch of crypto
all
bills
of the votes are going with us.
Getting
every
voted
single
on
vote.
again today.
But during the conversation, when we were
I say again
talking
because they got
about
voted
it,
down
I asked, what would
yesterday.
you do about that? They all said would fire him.
Mr. President,
Yeah, please.
thank you for taking my question, sir. You were in Pennsylvania yesterday. You
Yes.
unveiled $92 billion worth of investments. One of those jumped out to $15 billion in Homer City to build the largest natural
Right,
gas
good.
power plant ever. I was at the rally where you told Homer City residents that you would not forget them when the biggest coal plant in Pennsylvania
That's right.
closed down. Delivered for them yesterday. What message do you have for those
Well, I'm
residents?
happy. Homer City. I was there and I said, I'm going to produce something. I don't know what, because they shut down this massive coal plant, one of the biggest in the country. And it was just purchased by the gentleman that you met yesterday. Very substantial man. I don't know if he's maybe not as substantial as you. I'm not sure. But he's pretty substantial. You know who I'm
Someone
talking
wants me to remove my shirt?
And they're going to spend billions of dollars.
It's
on
not that kind of
rebuilding
show.
it, and it's going to be the
could
largest
be.
plant of its kind in the
It could be. It's not.
in the world.
It's not
I
going to
believe,
be.
actually in the world, and it's going to be great. So we really fulfilled that promise to Homer City, but it's to Pennsylvania basically. I won Pennsylvania, and very conclusively won Pennsylvania. So I owe them a big debt of gratitude. But thank you for
It's
bringing
true.
that up. We raised 92. It's actually going over 100.
Good morning, Nick.
So it'll be over $100 billion to be invested in Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania Energy Project. And we had, everybody was there. Larry Fink was there. I mean, everybody was there. And done a great job. The senator did a great job. And we were very proud. That was a great meeting yesterday. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, actually for each of you, so for the Crown Prince, are you planning on taking any of the Patriot missiles that you're going to receive from the United States and divert those to help Ukraine?
We have no current plans, as we have an operational requirement inside Bahrain to keep them there
Okay.
for the present time at least.
He's got plenty of them, too.
And Mr. President, on the fentanyl
They
bill,
are.
They're wonderful. They're wonderful pieces of kit.
They work very well.
American technology is the best.
Yep.
and on the fentanyl bill that you're
That's
signing,
maybe the most important part of this. He has his choice of everything. And
You know it's important because of
we
the
make
accordion
best
hands.
Military equipment by far.
I feel like he hasn't done that in a while.
Bar none.
Yeah, thank you.
and on the
He's
fentanyl
really-
bill that
he's
you're
really
signing today, do you hope that
started
that
controlling
will
himself.
start law enforcement cooperation with China on getting the fentanyl?
Yeah, I think China's been helping out. I mean, it's been a terrible situation for many years with fentanyl, but since I came here, we're talking. to
Someone
them,
says I should stop
they're
and do
making,
OnlyFans.
Big steps. They're also, as you know,
We'll
being
talk about that
penalized.
later.
You know that, they're being penalized with tariffs because of the fentanyl, but they want to do something. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Go ahead, please.
An American from Tampa was beaten to death, was killed by Israeli settlers in the West Bank. His family has been calling on you to help prosecute against killers. Are you going to do that, an American from Tampa?
Yeah, your first sentence is really. Go ahead.
An American citizen from
Yeah.
Tampa, Florida, has been killed in the West Bank. His family has been asking you to prosecute him. Are you going to help?
You know about
Yeah,
this.
well,
I
so first
can't
of all,
hear
you've seen yesterday, Ambassador Huckabee has asked the Israelis to conduct an investigation. We want to get all the information about who was involved. We protect all American citizens anywhere in the world, especially if they're unjustly murdered or killed. So we're gathering more information, but I hope you saw yesterday Ambassador Huckabee in Israel asked the Israeli authorities to produce an investigation and concrete information about who was responsible for his murder.
They're reporting that tomorrow. We have a meeting on it. They're going to be reporting that to me. Yeah.
Do you think that the Gulf area now is more secure? And do you believe that a negotiation with Iran is necessary at this stage?
Man, the sound is so bad
I
today.
definitely believe that the volatility of the situation has been reduced. And we didn't know where it was going to go on the Sunday. We were very glad when we found out on the Monday. Let me put it that way. And should the Iranians want to negotiate, I believe the ball's in their court. That is the true reality of where we stand today. They are the ones that stand to benefit from a negotiation.
And they do. They want to negotiate.
Unless they want to make
negotiate
nuclear
badly.
weapons, then they don't stand to gain anything.
We're in no rush because, you know, we said we could have made a deal. They should have made a deal. And then we bombed the
Did a
hell
real
out of
quick
their
one there.
Various places. We're in no rush, but if they want to negotiate, we're here. Yeah.
Mr. President, I know you want to.
I love that.
This intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney
It's a big
general
hoax.
told you this was a hoax? What evidence? have
No,
you
it's
seen?
not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And
Wow, the
some
Epstein
stupid
files are a hoax
Republicans
perpetrated
and
by the
foolish
Democrats
Republicans fall
now.
into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work.
A new chapter
The
turns in the
Democrats are good for
Epstein
nothing
files
other than
saga.
these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. Takes a lot of time
The
and
Epstein
effort. Instead
hoax.
of talking about the
Wow.
great achievements we've had.
He didn't used to call it that.
Gentleman,
That's a
yesterday,
new
as you
one.
know, went on CNBC
This is-
and he made the
this is a
statement
new
that
tactic.
Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died
Obviously.
3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all.
He'd
of
rather
the things
talk
we've
about
done,
the
including
things
the
he's
Middle East.
not
You see it.
implicated in that are
Instead, they want
terrible.
to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is, it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
If you believe in the Epstein files, he just called you stupid. If anybody missed that, if that wasn't clear, he
Is that
literally
right?
just said
Those are
it's stupid
reports,
people.
but they're not true.
So what would be useful to know, are you committed to picking someone from the outside, or are you going to
I have so many people that want that job. I have people that I've known a long time, they're calling me, begging for the job. You know what you need there? A smart person with common sense, but you need a very smart person for that job. I think it's one of the easiest jobs
Any job, really.
in government. You show up
You need a
once month
smart
and you make a statement
person
about where the economy's
with common
going.
sense to do the
And we're
easiest
gonna raise or
job.
lower interest rates. It's probably the easiest job I've ever seen.
It's the easiest
That's what
job
I'm
he's
trying to
ever
figure, why does he
seen.
want to expand and add more people.
But you need a
He's gonna
smart
add
person
more
there.
economists to tell him what to do. But the economists, I was right. All the economists were wrong.
But
They admitted it. They admitted it this morning. Quiet. Go ahead.
Quiet! He silenced somebody. He said that people
Well, I
are
think he's
admitting
already
that
under
he was right.
investigation.
Economists are admitting that he was right this morning.
Far more money than he was supposed to on rebuilding. I didn't see him as being the kind of guy that would want to have parks, rooftop parks, and everything else on top of buildings. But who wants to spend that money for the Fed? The Fed is supposed to sit there and say where interest rates are going, and a couple of other very easy things to do. And he spent $2.5 billion. I think he's got some problems.
Thank you, sir. You also reported a monthly surplus in the month.
That's right, $25 billion.
A ton of money with these new tariff rates coming into effect on August 1st, and bringing in even more tariff revenue specifically. How much revenue do you think we can consistently bring in from these tariffs, and how big of a game changer is this, not only for the economy, but also for fiscal responsibility?
Well, we're going to be bringing in, already we've brought in over $100 billion. We'll be bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars. And the tariffs really haven't kicked in that much other than automobiles and steel. August 1st is a big day. August 1st is when very substantial money comes into our country. We've made deals with a lot of great places, but we had one yesterday, that was announced. We have another one coming up, maybe with India, I don't know, we're in negotiation. When I send out a letter, that's a deal. In other words, that's a deal. They don't want to ever say that, oh, how many deals have you made? The best deal we can make is to send out a letter. And the letter says that you'll pay 30%, 35%, 25%, 20%, in one case 50%, Brazil, and because what they're doing to their former president is disgraceful. I know the former president, he fought like hell for the people of Brazil, that I can tell you.
Inconclusive.
And I believe he's an honest man. I think what they're doing to him is terrible. So, yeah, we have some pretty good deals to announce, but every time we send out a letter, that's the deal. The big one really is going to be on the 150 countries that we're really not negotiating with, and they're smaller. We don't do much business with them. Because you have a lot of countries, you have over 200
Someone
countries,
says
and a
the
lot
art
people
of sending a
do
letter.
business, but we'll have well over 150 countries that we're just going to send a notice of payment out, and the notice of payment is going to say what the tariff, and it's all going to be the same for everyone, for that group. They don't, they're not big countries, and they don't do that much business. It's not like the ones that we've agreed with, like China, like Japan, where we're negotiating with them, but I think probably we'll live by the letter with Japan. We're very close to a deal with India where they open it up. Indonesia yesterday was...
Indonesia made a deal yesterday?
It wasn't an open country, now it is. And they have tremendous copper, quality copper, and probably the most copper. And we made a deal with Indonesia. We pay no tariff, zero, and we have total access to trade. That's a phenomenal deal for our companies. And we've agreed with them, as you know, on 19%. They pay 19%. And it's a good deal for them, and it's a good deal for us in that case. But we have a number of them coming up. But overall, we're doing well, and we're taking in a lot of money, We have the number one, we have the most oil of any country in the world, even more than them, which is hard to believe.
Indonesia produces the
But we
same
have a little
amount as the
larger
US.
piece of land, right?
We do, sir.
But
And so-
we're number one in the world in oil, and we're drilling, and today it hit $64 a barrel, which is great. And that'll help stop wars, actually. If you want to know the truth, it's going to help stop wars. And we hope to get it down a little bit more. But we have oil down to $2, $2.25, $2.50 in numerous states. We hit one at $1.98 a gallon. And that's a great thing. That's one of the reasons that inflation's in check. When you can do that, you stop the inflation. What Biden did is he ended our policies, went to his policies. He didn't have a policy. Some lunatic around the desk had a policy. Whoever operated the auto pen had a policy, which is, by the way, I think the biggest scandal. That's the scandal they should be talking about, not Jeffrey Epstein. The scandal you should be talking about is the auto pen, because I think it's the biggest scandal, one of them in American history. So the economy is doing really well, and people are saying it. Yeah, please.
I mean,
Go
the
ahead.
economy is doing okay, especially by the standards of where it has been.
Yeah, whatever's credible, she can release. If a document is credible, if a document's there that is credible, she can release. I think it's good. But it's just a subject. He's dead. He's gone, and all it is the certain Republicans got duped by the Democrats, and they're following a Democrat playbook, and no different.
Pretending
than
like the
Russia,
Epstein
Russia, and
files
all
is
the
a
other
Democrat
hoaxes. They're
creation.
started by the Democrats, and some
Seems
Republicans.
really strange
in this
to me.
case, I was surprised, but they got duped. Go ahead.
There are more Democrats implemented, as far as I know, than Republicans.
Well, I don't know. I can't speak about him, but I can say that Pam Bondi, I really think that she's done very good. She says, I gave you all the credible information. And if she finds any more credible information, she'll give that too. What more can she do than that? I mean,
So
honestly,
she has
what
given
more can
us
she do?
absolutely
And
everything
we do have
there
bigger
is.
problems. You know, we
is
have
the current
problems
story.
with
It's not a hoax.
millions of illegal people.
He said it was a
that
hoax
came in
earlier.
here and
Now,
they're killers and murderers.
we
have
actually have everything.
11,888 murderers that were allowed into our country by Biden, sleepy Joe Biden, stupid Joe Biden. He allowed them into our
okay.
country. And
All
you know
right.
what? We got to do something about it. She's got a lot of things she's working on. And, you know, it's very sad that
The immigrant
somebody
issue,
can be waylaid. They just
obviously,
get waylaid, but she's
totally
I think
unrelated
she's
to
doing a
anything
great
we've been
job.
talking about so far today.
Go ahead.
In your two sessions this morning, you mentioned past supporters when you were talking about the Epstein issue. Does that mean that you're effectively disowning any supporters?
No, but I lost a lot of faith in certain people. Yeah, I lost because they got duped by the Democrats. The Democrats are good for nothing. They've done a terrible job. They almost destroyed our country. If I didn't get elected, all these numbers you're hearing about, they found $25 billion and another 25 is coming in and hundreds of billions of dollars is pouring into our country. And we just got the biggest tax cut in history. We just got the biggest regulation cuts in history. There'll be no tax on tips. There'll be no tax on Social Security.
It's true that none of that
There'll
would
be no
have
tax on
happened.
overtime. There'll be no tax on so many other things. You're allowed to deduct your interest from a car payment. That's never happened before. You borrow interest, you borrow money to buy a car if the car is made in America. And by the way, factories are being built all over America, car factories, AI factories, but you get a deduction on
We'll
your
see.
interest.
We'll
Nobody
see
ever
how all
thought
that
of
works
before.
out.
It never happened before.
You can't claim a victory
And,
there.
You know, these are the things that
That's
they should be
happening,
talking
but
about.
I don't think you can quite claim a victory
Big
there.
Beautiful Bill is one of the greatest pieces of legislation ever in this country, and the Democrats have nothing to combat it, so they say, oh, it's death. Oh, that's good. And then they give it to the fake news, which is you and a few others, and the fake news talks about the bill is death. The bill is actually life. The bill is life, and it saves our country. This bill is incredible. Look at the results already. So we have $16 trillion being invested in our country. And this great gentleman and his family just came in with another billions of dollars. And
Another billions.
If he didn't like the country, if he didn't like where we were going, he's very smart. He'd come, maybe he wouldn't even come. I think maybe he wouldn't even come. You'd save your time. But, you know, it's one of those things. But if he didn't like where this country was, he wouldn't be investing billions of dollars in this country. But think of it, $16 trillion, more than has ever been even contemplated before. And we haven't even started yet.
Yeah, where do you think that money is going to go,
I
though?
want to talk about the success. And the Democrats have nothing
How are we
to show
using that?
for what they do.
As far as
They
I know,
almost
it's
destroyed-
going
they
to
allowed
military
25 million
production.
people to come into our country. Gang members, jailbirds.
The military
From
industrial
all over the world, not
complex
South America,
is
from
where
all over
most
the
of our
world. They
spending
allowed
is
them to
about
come
to
into
happen.
our country from mental institutions, insane asylums, just walk right through. They couldn't come into your country. They couldn't come into any country in the world except our country. And they came in from the worst places, gang members, drug dealers, They all came in. Turn it off, please. They all came in. And
What even was that?
I'm doing something about it.
Someone's
We have
walkie-talkie
it
went
under
off?
check right now. We got rid of a lot of the murderers already. Some of them we put in our prisons because they're so bad we don't want to take a chance in putting them in a foreign prison, have them come back. But we've done a great job. Our country's in great shape. We literally have the hottest country anywhere in the world right now.
The U.S.
And
is so
it's
hot
true
right
what
now.
The king said, what a lot of people said, we were a dead country. 1 year ago, we were a dead country.
If you
We were
want to
laughed
see what I'm
all
looking
over
at,
the world. We had
it's at
Afghanistan, we had
youtube.com/@Kellerman
horrible
Comedy,
embarrassment.
comedy with a K.
Most embarrassing moment
That's how you
in the
see what's
history of our
behind it.
country. Look what happened with Russia and Ukraine. That should have never happened. Look what happened with Israel. That would have never happened. Hamas had no money. Iran had no money. There was no money to do an attack like that. All these things that happened that wouldn't have happened if you had good leadership. And that's what you should be talking about. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
He said thank you. That means the end. All right. Well, that wasn't very exciting. I'm going to watch his press gaggles from yesterday, though. There's a lot of, as I said at the beginning of this, there's a lot of clips and sound bites and things floating around from two press gaggles that Trump did yesterday. So I thought maybe we would just watch those. You know? Why not, right? Let's watch those together. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, thank you for joining me. If you want to continue watching, you're going to have to go to youtube.com/@Kellerman Comedy. That's comedy with a K. I'll see you there if you're coming over. I'm going to keep going for a little bit. So come watch. There's links in my bios and all that good stuff. Okay. It's just us now, YouTube. How's everybody feeling about that? How's everybody feeling about what we just watched? Where are my press gaggles? Here we go. All right, he did 2 4 hours apart. He did a press gaggle. He did one before leaving the White House, and then he did another where at a base Andrews. So, a few hours later. So let's check those out. We'll watch the first one first. Oh my god, that's too loud. Why are they always right next to a jet engine?
We brought our star along here. We're going to Pittsburgh. We're going to be touting about, actually, going to be numbers like nobody's ever heard before. It's mostly to do with AI. We have tremendous investments being made, literally trillions of dollars of investments being made in our country on AI, artificial intelligence. I don't know if the word artificial is a good word, but that's the word. That's what they've chosen. So I think we're going to have a very successful trip.
What's wrong with artificial?
We had a good call with the Texas congressman this morning, as you probably heard, and that went very well. And you have any questions? Yeah.
Mr. President, your reaction to the latest numbers from the Labor Department saying that inflation rose slightly last month?
Very slight. Essentially, they were exactly as anticipated. Very low inflation. So what you should do is lower the rate. The Fed should lower the rate immediately.
Mr. President,
We had a big win with the Supreme Court on the Department of
Katie
Education.
thinks that Caroline Leavitt is
As you
fucking
know,
Trump
we
right
want
now.
to bring education back to the states, take the federal government out of it. A little tiny bit of supervision, but very little, almost nothing. Like to make sure they speak English. That's about all we need.
Mr. President,
Well, we have school choice, and we're getting school choice approved all over the country. We just got it done in Texas, and school choice is the answer. Yes. I see. Well, at the end of 50 days, if we don't have a deal, it's going to be too bad.
Oh well.
Tariffs are going to go on, and
Oh,
other
okay.
sanctions go on.
Other sanctions. Other sanctions on Russia.
He shouldn't target Moscow.
What about Ukraine? Are you willing to give long-range missiles to Ukraine as well? And are you happy about the 50 days?
No, we're not looking to do that.
Mr. President, why are you giving Mr. Putin 50 additional days?
Why are you giving Putin 50 days?
Oh, I don't think 50 days is very long, and it could be sooner than that. I don't think 50 days is very long.
Mr. President,
You should have asked that same question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? You should ask that question. Yeah, and what did he tell you? Why did he get us into this war? You know why he got us in? Because he's a dummy. That's why. And you don't cover it right. But you should be asking that question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? Because he's incompetent. It would have never happened if I were president.
Mr. President, do you believe
What's the deal with Indonesia? What are the terms?
So we made a deal with Indonesia. I spoke to their really great president, very popular, very strong, smart, and we made the deal. We have full access to Indonesia, everything. As you know, Indonesia is very strong on copper, but we have full access to everything. We will pay no tariffs. So they are giving us access into Indonesia, which we never had. That's probably the biggest part of the deal. And the other part is they are going to pay 19%, and we are going to pay nothing. I think it's a good deal for both parties. But we will have full access into Indonesia. And we have a couple of those deals that are going to be announced. India basically is working along that same line. We're going to have access into India. And you have to understand, we had no access into any of these countries. Our people couldn't go in. And now we're getting access because of what we're doing with the tariffs. So they're paying 19%, and we are not paying anything. And they're going to give us full access into Indonesia. Now, Indonesia has some great products, and they also have some very valuable earths and various other materials. One of the things, as you know, they're known for is very high quality copper, which we'll be using.
Mr. President, do you believe your tariffs might have led for inflation to increase last month? Do you think they had any role?
Well, we had very little inflation. I don't know. Who do you work for?
USA Today.
What?
USA Today.
Oh, well, they wrote me a beautiful article the other day, so I can't get angry at you. USA Today just wrote a very good article.
He was just
about me.
ready to get angry at somebody, depending on where they were reporting from.
No, there was very little inflation.
Come
as
on.
you know. The numbers were very good, very much inside the margin. So we've had no inflation. All we have is we're making a fortune. We are taking in hundreds of
Well,
billions
inflation
of
went
dollars.
up, just to be
So
clear.
we
It
had
was,
a surplus
he's
of
right, it was
$45
within the
billion
margin, but
last month,
it did
which
go
we
up.
haven't had in many, many years. We are doing because I'm able to do it. Nobody else would be able to do it. We have tariffs going on.
Wow, thank you, Juniper Lane, for the $50 donation. That stuff really keeps the show going. I gotta be honest with you guys. Those little donations really make a big difference. I really appreciate that, Juniper. Thank you. I wish I could feel like I did in the 80s when I was young and didn't know better. Your news reports provide levity, and thank you for that. You're very welcome. Hopefully this is more fun than just watching Trump speak by yourself.
Are you on Ukraine's side now?
No, I'm on nobody's side. I'm the no.
Are you on Ukraine's side is what that guy asked.
Humanity's side. I want to stop the killing of thousands of people a week. I want to stop the killing.
What a great
I want
answer.
the killing to stop in the Ukraine-Russia war. That's the side I'm on.
Excellent answer. That was one of the most diplomatic answers I've ever heard him say.
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job, and I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also, but I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important, and you want credible evidence for something like that, and I think the Attorney General's handled it very well.
Sorry, I can't hear you over the jet engine.
On what? On the, on what? On what subject? Okay. A very quick briefing. No, She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, you know, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, you know, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks.
This is a new twist, calling it a hoax. He didn't call it a hoax until this, as far as I know. This was yesterday, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't calling it a hoax
Yeah,
before.
well, that's okay too, but 5. I think we get 5. And there could be some other states. We're going to get another 3 or 4 or 5 in addition. Texas would be the biggest one, and that'll be 5. No, just a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats. But we have a couple of other states where we'll pick up seats also.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
Well, when he was in my office.
And what did you tell him when he was in your office?
I told him he's doing a very bad job. He's way late. That's why I call him too late. Jerome Powell is too late. He's way late. Interest rates should be coming down. We have a very, very successful country. We should have the lowest interest rate anywhere in the world, and we don't. Jerome Powell has done a terrible job.
What do you think about that? Should we have a lower interest rate?
He's called everything wrong. So they had a report come out the other day, 71 different economists, and me. You know who was right? Me.
Are you going to
Did you know that? I was right.
I did know, Mr. President. Are you going to appoint Mr. Powell to another term as Fed chair?
You must be kidding.
Have you started interviewing his replacement?
You must be kidding.
He has said over and over again he's not going to fire Jerome Powell.
That's a funny one coming. You had to waste a question like that. No, we are talking to the EU, and we're making progress. But look, you know, we already have a deal with the EU. It's called the letter that was sent out. I think it was 30%. That's the EU. But we, at the same time, we are talking.
What happens if the EU retaliates?
No, go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, your reaction to Andrew Cuomo saying in the New York City mayor's race. Andrew Cuomo saying in the New York City mayor's race.
I think he should stay. I think he has a shot.
Would you prefer him over...
Well, I don't want to say. You know, I'm a Republican. He's a Democrat or an independent. No, I think Andrew would have a good shot of winning. He's got to run a tough campaign. He's, you know, he's running against the communists. I would think that he would have a good shot of winning. Steve, go ahead. We're going to be meeting with the British Prime Minister, very respected, and we are going to have a meeting with him probably in Aberdeen, and we're going to do a lot of different things, and we're going to also refine the trade deal that we've made. So we'll be meeting mostly with the, at probably one of my properties, or maybe not, depending on what happens, but we'll be in Aberdeen in Scotland, meeting with the Prime Minister.
Do you have a message for the EU? Mr. President, do you have a message for the EU if they retaliate for your tariffs?
Well, I don't know how they can retaliate. You know, they've made a lot of money. They've treated us very badly, but now they're treating us very nicely. And I think we'll end up, I think everybody's going to be happy with the EU.
Great.
Not a plan. I would do it. I have a lot of respect. I really like his brother. His brother is a major, serious Trumper. You know that. He's MAGA all the way. I like the Pope's brother, and I think I'd like the Pope.
Somebody said Caroline Leavitt is eye fucking him, and then she really.
And he is MAGA. He's got MAGA signs all over the house. He likes Trump, and I like him. How about you? Well, we're going to see what happens with President Putin. So far, I've been very disappointed with President Putin. I've solved a lot of wars in the last 3 months, but I haven't gotten this one yet. This
Just
is
not the
Biden
ones I said I was
war,
going
not
to.
a Trump war. I'm here to try and get us out of that mess. Any messages for what? Yeah, go ahead. Do I have a what? For the people of Brazil. Are you from Brazil?
I am. Okay. The from Brazil after the Supreme Court find former President Bolsonaro guilty. Any word of that?
He's going to trial now, right?
Yes.
When is that trial starting?
Come on, Bolsonaro.
When is the trial for Bolsonaro starting? When is it?
Well, we've got someone watching from Brazil.
How is it going? But they haven't found him guilty, have they? But have they found him guilty? No. Look, here's the story. President Bolsonaro is a good man. I've gotten to know a lot of prime ministers and presidents and kings and queens. And I know
Thanks,
I'm
Mad
pretty
Money.
good at this. President Bolsonaro is not a dishonest man. He loves the people of Brazil. He fought hard for the people of Brazil. He negotiated trade deals against me for the people of Brazil, and he was very tough. And he was tough because he wanted to do a good deal for his country. He was not a dishonest man. And I believe it's a witch hunt, and it shouldn't be happening. And it's not that I know him that, look, he's not like a friend of mine. He's somebody that I know. And I know him as a representative of millions of people, Brazilians. They're great people. And he loves the country, and he fought hard for those people, and they want to put him in jail. And I think that's a witch hunt, and I think it's very unfortunate. And nobody's happy with what Brazil is doing, because Bolsonaro was a respected president. Very respected. I would love to see him brought to justice. I think I'll tell you what, I think Adam Schiff is one of the lowest of the low. I would love to see him brought to justice. He is a dishonest, crooked guy. I don't know about the individual charge, if that even happens. But Adam Schiff is a serious lowlife.
And tomorrow morning here in Washington, AOC is hosting Go Ron for breakfast. Were you invited?
I'd love to be. I'd really love to go. I mean, I look forward to meeting them both. I know them both very well through what I read and through what I see. Look, he's a communist. I don't think our country is ready for a communist, but we're going to see. And I don't think that race is over yet either. You do have a couple of people running against, and it'll be an interesting thing. Things are coming out about him which aren't good. And, AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good time. I like Dan Bongino.
Put Google up. Did it change just now?
We get a little special.
1 second. They get excited over you, right?
They get excited over you.
I don't know why. First question. First, Letitia James, alleged mortgage fraud. Now we have Adam Schiff allegedly committed mortgage fraud at all. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I just saw it. And I think the thing with Adam Schiff is very serious, and I think what they have on
I see why.
Letitia James
I
is
see
very
why.
serious. That's a very, very serious situation. But I have to leave that up to the district attorneys and to the prosecutors and to the attorney general, most importantly.
Should Letitia James have a law license based upon the alleged violations of mortgage fraud?
Well, they look pretty open and shut to me, but, I'm not the jury. I'm not the jury. No, looks very serious. And Adam Schiff looks very serious. Look, he's a sleazeball. Everybody knows it. And I was a little surprised. I thought he would have covered his bases a little bit better than that. Adam Schiff is a lowlife. He deserves what he gets.
Let's talk about the Genius Act that you just pushed out. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're going to do that, and we have great support for it. It's a beautiful act. It's the Genius Act is a beautiful act. I even like the name of it. because we need smart people in our country. Thank you, Brian.
Did you get it? Have you spoken to President Putin since the announcement yet? Do you have plans?
Mr. President!
All right. So then he went to Base Andrews. Another one of these gaggles. I'm sorry, I'm gonna. That just can't be on the screen all the time. So he did another one of those gaggles just a few hours later. You can see everybody's wearing the same stuff. They just. I don't know if this is when they were about to leave or when they just arrived, but he answers. He does another gaggle, so we're gonna watch that, and then that'll be the end of this. Thank you everybody for joining. While I'm paused here, I'll take a moment to ask you to please like the video, subscribe, share it with people. You know, if you want to support, you can, do one of those special chat things and I'll shout you out, or, go to my Substack at theforkinnews.substack.com. Thanks for joining, everybody. Let's continue. Let's keep the show going.
Hello, Doug. Hello, everybody. How are you? We had a big day in Pittsburgh. $92 billion, but it's going to be closer to $100 billion is going to be invested by the biggest financial people in the world. We had everybody there from Larry Fink to everybody else you can imagine. And it was a really great day and a very productive day. I think we're over now as a country, we're over $15 trillion of investment, and there's never been anything like that. In the history of our country, there has not been anything like it or even close. So, okay, do you have any questions?
You announced the Indonesia deal today. You announced the Indonesia trade deal today. How many more trade deals beyond the letters will you announce before August 1st?
We're working on probably 5 or 6. Of the 5 or 6, I'm not sure I really want to do them. You want somebody that knows how to negotiate. But we'll probably have 2 or 3. We insist on opening up the country, which is a big deal. Indonesia was great. He's a great president. And we made a terrific deal where they opened up the entire country to trade with the United States. We weren't allowed to go in and trade. I think something similar will happen with I would say, India. And we have a couple of others. But I have to tell you, for the most part, I'm very happy with the letters. The letters are a deal. I can't explain it any better. The letters are a deal. The press doesn't want to pick that up. But I will veer from those deals on occasion when somebody is willing. Like if Japan would open up their country. They don't do that. They just don't do that. And I don't either. I don't subscribe to it one way or the other. But they won't do that. So we might just stick with the letter. South Korea is inclined to maybe do that. So we'll let you know. But we have letters out. Every time I send out a letter, essentially that's a deal.
Mr. President, with the date you gave of August 1st, with the date that you gave of August 1st, why stick with the date if you're saying that you might just...
Payments start on August 1st. The only thing that's really sacred about August 1st is that's when payments start. So they have to start paying billions of dollars to you and people. Are you a citizen of the country?
Yes, sir.
You'll be very happy because you're going to be getting a lot of money. Just like they found a budget surplus. We have a budget surplus of $25 billion. Everyone said, how did that happen? It hasn't happened in many years. It happened because of good management and tariffs.
Do you plan to release more details of the Vietnam-China deals? Is there going to be a paperwork released to the public of showing that?
I don't think it matters how much you release of the deal. We have a Vietnam deal, and I would say that deal is being pretty well set. It's pretty well set. Again, that's an opening of their country. They've opened it up. Just so you know, these were closed countries. They were wonderful people, wonderful leaders, very strong, smart leaders. But their countries were closed to us, but our country wasn't closed to them. And so I said, you got to open up your country. So we're going to see. But the Vietnam deal, we may open open it. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you. Is it necessary?
Who's this guy?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I haven't seen him around before.
Why did you settle on giving Putin another 50 days? It seems like he's had a lot of time to show he wants peace.
I think really the question should be asked, why did Biden get us into that ridiculous war? Why did Biden bring us there? That should never, ever have happened, that war. This is Biden's war. I'm just trying to end it because we're saving a lot of lives.
Why do you think his opinion will change in 50 days?
To be clear,
over the last
Biden did not
Rapidly.
initiate the war in Ukraine. Russia invaded.
When do you think the first Patriot missiles,
Biden did,
weapons that our allies
you know,
buy,
involve the U.S., but calling it Biden's
Germany
war
and then
seems
replaced by Germany, and
it's really
in all
Putin's
cases,
war.
The United
If
States
we're gonna
gets
be
paid back in full.
intellectually honest
So
here.
what's happening, as you know, is the European Union. If you look, mostly European Union stuff, but let's put it in the form of NATO. It's very similar. But NATO is going to pay us back for everything. In some cases, we're going to be paid back by countries of the European Union directly.
see those
But
payments?
we're always getting our money back in full. So we're not going to have any more investment to make. We're getting our money back in full. And if we can make a deal, that'd be great. We're saving 5,000 or 6,000 soldiers a week. They're Russian and they're Ukrainian soldiers. They're not American soldiers. And we won't have boots on the ground. But it's a shame. 5,000, last week they say 7,100 soldiers, both Russian and Ukraine, were killed.
Iran, have you seen any progress in talks with Iran? We haven't really heard about that in a while.
If you want to talk, I'm in no rush to talk. They would like to talk. I'm in no rush to talk because we obliterated their site. They'd have to start all over. In fact, it's obliterated to the point that it's not usable anymore. They'd have to pick a different mountain. That mountain is so blown up inside and so unstable that they would have to pick a different mountain. Our people really did the job. Yes, please.
That, sir, would you fire Jerome Powell over the Treasury renovation that's drawn so much heat?
$2.5 million building this place.
So that's
I have to say this.
Dan. Where am I
I think
pointing?
he's terrible.
Over there is Dan
I think he's a
Scavino,
total stiff. But the one thing I
his
didn't
deputy
see him
chief
is the
of
guy
staff,
that needed a palace
and this
to
is
live in.
John
You talk to
McEntee,
the guy, it's like talking
who's
to
just a political
nothing.
aide. Here, I'll show you.
It's like talking
Into a chair. No personality, no high intelligence, no nothing. But the one thing I would have never guessed is that he would be spending $2.5 billion to build a little extension onto the Fed.
Is that a fireable?
Nobody's ever seen. I think it sort of is, because if you look at his testimony to the House and the Senate, you take a look at the testimony, it's under earth. That whole thing is, he's not talking about the problem. It's a big problem. $2.5 billion, and that's $2.5 billion now. That's going to be a lot more money than $2.5 billion to expand, and with all of that,
to house thousands of people to give him information, and yet out of the 71 economists, and they included me and one other person got it right. I got it right, and one other genius got it right. Everybody else was wrong. 69 were wrong, and 2 were right. I was one of them. And I don't have a lot of people. I have Howard. I have Doug. I have a few people.
It's true that we looked it up earlier, that estimates say that we're less likely to go into a recession now.
$2.5 billion on really a renovation, I think it's pretty disgraceful.
Mr. President, have you spoken to President Putin since your announcement yesterday?
Juniper,
do you think when you
message me on social media somewhere. Private message me, direct message me.
What does he say to you?
Your address, and I'll send you a hat or something. I
So
appreciate
far,
you.
it's all talk and no action. I mean, if you think about it, India, Pakistan, we did so many. The Congo, and I mean, look at the deals we've made. We made all these peace deals. Look at Rwanda. It was an impossible deal to make with the Congo. I made that. I made all of these deals, Serbia, Kosovo, and here's the one deal. And actually, Vladimir called me up. He said, I'd love to help you with respect to making a deal with a couple of them, like Iran. I'd love to help you. I say, Vladimir, I only want to help with one deal, Russia, because you're the only deal that we're not doing too well on.
Someone argued that the Israel-Gaza deal is not going too
He
great.
said, no, he wants peace. And I think he does. I hope he does. We're going to find out soon. And it could be before the 50 days.
He wants peace
Twice yesterday, when
and
you were talking about
ownership
you mentioned
over Ukraine.
conversations you had with the First Lady after talking with President Putin. Has she influenced your thinking on this at all?
She's very smart. Very neutral. She's very neutral in a sense. She's sort of like me. She'd like to see people stop dying. You know, people said, are you for one side or another? I'm for the side of people stopping dying. We have 5,000, 6,000, and 7,000 people a week at least. And that doesn't include people from the cities and towns that are having rockets lobbed in there. I mean, people are dying in the cities and towns too, but we're
pretty
talking
awful
about
over there.
7,100
Sucks to be in a
in the
war-torn
last
country.
8 days died. And I'm for stopping that.
Chair search, sir. Is Scott Bessent, your Treasury Secretary, your number one option whenever Jerome Powell leaves, or is he your top option?
Well, he's not, because I like the job he's doing. That's why he's not.
Oh, sir?
I like the job. I don't know if he was on the plan. Was he on the plan? Maybe he wasn't. But
I like that
do
pink
the job
tie.
he's done. So, in that sense, probably he's not that much of an option.
Hot pink, because we're the
Scott's been
hottest
great.
country.
He's been terrific. He did a good job today. He's a very soothing force. You know, it's soothing. All right.
He's a soothing fart?
Say that pharmaceutical. I'm sorry.
Pharmaceuticals will be tariffed probably at the end of the month. And we're going to start off with a low tariff and give the pharmaceutical companies a year or so to build. And then we're going to make it a very high tariff, because we got to move them in. Look, there's two ways you do it. You make money, or you have them move here so they don't have to pay the tariff. Those are the two ways. The pharmaceutical companies are moving back to America where they should be.
Semiconductor, is that in the same timeline? The semiconductor tariffs?
Similar. Actually less complicated, but similar. Semiconductors and chips.
I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
Why they would be so interested? He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
He doesn't even understand.
And the credible information.
Why would anybody want to know?
Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things. The Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's
so boring.
And I don't understand why.
It's just so boring.
I think, well, really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Mr. President, a question on AI. How do you want Americans to think about it? Are you concerned about job loss or privacy, or do you think this is the new technology?
It's interesting because we need jobs. We need a lot of people to work. You know, we're going to be building very shortly hundreds of factories, including AI. We're building a lot of car factories. They're all coming in.
I'm not sure that building AI factories is gonna. That's like a short-term help for jobs, right? Because that'll then eventually take away jobs.
We're not going to have enough workers to take care of it if we don't create something. So whether it's robots or whether it's AI, we need somebody to take care of. You agree with us?
I agree. So many jobs.
If we don't have enough people to work, which we do, we just have to use robots and AI.
In these factories, building them great, high-paying jobs in America that President Trump has brought back. So those jobs, of course, are in the wings. So let's go. Let's train America, and let's get it going.
What would you say about the job?
Well, I think with AI, as Howard and the President said, we're going to need more workers in this country because President Trump, as the greatest economic developer that this country's ever had, has brought back this record amount of foreign direct investment and a record amount of U.S. investment going back into job creation. But the mix is going to change. AI will take jobs away like software development because AI can write code, but AI can't wire a building, do plumbing. I mean, if kids go into the trades today, they're all going to be making 150 grand and they'll have amazing lives, build companies, start businesses.
Until the
I mean,
robots
this
can
is,
do
this
that.
is part of the boom of America, because middle class, working Americans will never have had it as good. They have lower taxes, lower regulations, and more opportunities to go to work to build things.
We need people. We really need, because we're building so many factories in the country, and so AI can help with that. But what also is going to help are going to be robots. You know, the robots, I think, are going to be a big deal, and that's going to help also.
There's only one U.S. company that I know of
The
building
secondary
robots,
tariffs.
by the
Are
way,
you concerned
and
that
it's Tesla.
secondary tariffs on buyers of Russian oil will hurt American consumers, higher gasoline prices?
I think that whole thing is going to go away.
I should say building
It
consumer
should have gone
robots.
away. And Putin does say, I want peace, but so far he hasn't lived up to that. So I think it's going to go away, but we're going to find out soon. We're going to find out soon.
Can you give us more details on the sanctions? Is it 100% sanctions on Russia, or?
They're very biting, they're very significant, and they're going to be very bad for the countries involved. I mean, they'll be very, very powerful and very bad for the countries involved. And I hope we don't have to pull that string. And maybe we won't. We'll see. Got to end. Got to stop
Hopefully.
the killing.
Hopefully it ends before the 50-day
House
mark.
wasn't able to move on that crypto legislation.
The interesting thing is the 12 votes were votes where they wanted it to be stronger in terms of crypto people. I figured, oh, wow, that's sort of interesting, because I was focused really on today's meeting, not that. But the interesting is the votes, those negative votes, were because they wanted it to be, and the safeguards, they wanted it to be stronger for people with Bitcoin or crypto. They wanted more strength, which is interesting.
What do you want to refine in the UK
Interesting.
trade deal?
That is interesting.
We have a little to discuss, but the deal is really very well done. But I'll meet with the Prime Minister. We have a good relationship, and I think it's going to be, and it'll be very shortly, and it'll be probably in Aberdeen, Scotland.
At the event, which state besides Texas would you like Republicans to gerrymander? Which state besides Texas would you like Republicans to redraw the congressional lines?
4 of them. I'll let you figure that one out, but we have about 4 of them. In 3 cases, it's 1, and in 1 case, it's 2 or 3.
Thank you for the donation, Katie
California
Rudolph.
will turn around and do the same thing as Republicans?
In California, you never know what's going to happen, but we've done pretty well in the courts in California, as you see. We're batting about 1,000, ultimately. We start off a little slow, and then we get a lot of hits.
You said today at the event in Pittsburgh that if it wasn't for Mr. Lutnick, Mr. Besson, who want to do more deals, that you would basically just go with the letters. You've said that a few different times. I just want to clarify. Do you just want to go with the tariffs and move on?
They would like to make deals more than me.
Okay.
But they would like to make deals more than me. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying, in my opinion, he and Scott and maybe even Doug to a certain extent, you're more like me, I think. But they would like to make deals more than me. I'm very happy with the deals the way they are. Those are very, right? Those are very simple deals. It's whatever the percentage is. And we base that on a lot of things, including the deficit and, various things. And, I think it's a budget answer. Don't forget, we'll be releasing a letter soon talking about many countries that are much smaller, where you're not going to do letters per se. You might do an individual letter, but it's going to go very quickly. And the number will also be less. These are countries that are, many of them, like 200 countries. You understand?
Caribbean countries, African countries. You have a huge amount of countries that are small, and the president's just going to deal with them sort of the way he thinks is the right way to deal with them.
We'll probably set one tariff for all of them.
1%? Over 10% tariff on that?
Over 10%, yeah.
15,
Probably
20?
a little over 10%.
We do, it's still significant.
What about Israel, Mr. President? Is that related to your other, like the Gaza negotiations? Is that tied up in other issues?
Israel's going to be fine. We had a great victory with Israel. That was a great, great victory. What we did with the B-2 bombers and all of that. And I never thought of it, but so many people are thanking me. They say no president had the guts to do it because, this has been going on for 25 years. In fact, when the pilots came
We
to
bombed
the Oval
Iran.
Office, they said,
I don't
"Sir,
think that's what he's
we
referring
and our
to. He was
predecessors
asking about Gaza.
have been working on this attack.
He's not talking about
for
the
25
U.S.-Israel
years."
bombing in
Have a
Iran.
good time, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. well, other than that, avoiding that question about Gaza at the end, that was, neither of those things were particularly informative, but thanks for watching with me. Again, like the video, subscribe, do all the things that help it get out there, and help the channel grow. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for giving a shit, and I'll see